So yesterday was day 3 after getting my stitches out. Everything looked good, and the one on my back definitely had a bunch of raised edges and a very particular type of stitching done. And then a bandage was put on it right away just because it was still bleeding. And then I looked at it yesterday and it looks so much better, way healthier. It's actually flat. It looks like quite the tidy. I mean, sorry, my version of tidy is it looks like there's a zipper going across my back, but it looks way better, and I'm so grateful for the skill and the way they stitched me up, because that area in your body moves around a lot, especially when you're kind of lying down and turning, and so it was kind of nice to see how good it's looking, and that it's going to be a reasonable looking scar versus before it was very raised. So with that, I got to have my first shower. Don't worry, I've been sponge bathing, and wash my hair, or the half that's left. And I feel like with each piece of accomplishment post-surgery, there's always these little bits where, to me, like, I think it's very possible to enjoy and be grateful for every good thing while having, little bits we need to kind of chew on, right? So there I was in the shower washing my hair carefully, and I, post-surgically, I still needed to hold my head just to stabilize it as I shampoo. But that's also something I had to do before surgery, and when I had to do it before surgery, I had to be so careful because, again, like, just that little bit of pushing in the way my neck had to brace, and given all that I now know was going on, I often got close to or passing out, or had to like either sit, crouch, or on occasion lie on the shower floor. Now I understand a little bit more about where it's coming from, because, in the previous years I'd be like, yeah, like, there would be a correlation. Sometimes it would be that I would, happen to have lifted some things and gone and had a shower. And I remember talking to my physio about it, and from her vantage point, she's like, oh, maybe it's blood pressure, which is of course like a very reasonable thing. But I think that, like, as much as that could play in, I know nothing scientifically, I just started to notice the correlation as my symptoms progressed and became more, acute or severe. The passing down the shower used to just be such a commonplace thing. And one of the things I realized is, it wasn't necessarily heat, but whenever I would have to, agitate my head by shampooing, for example, it would happen all the time, even before those last few months that became quite severe. So yeah, as I was in the shower, I was like, well, this is great. Like, I've had a surgery. I obviously had the neck brace off. But I but at least I don't feel like that. And then on the other hand, so I'm like, great, like, progress, like, the very vulnerable parts of my system are much more protected, and obviously I have to do some things like the bracing, but this is better. And then there's another part of me that was like, oh, and I'm also kind of going through the process of experiencing, half my hair being gone, and for some of us that matters more and some of us matters less. It was never a consideration before surgery, as far as, like, I was just doing it. I felt nothing about it because I knew how important the surgery was, but after the fact, it's a little hard, because I mean, I'm so grateful for the changes, but I'm still, like, so soon after surgery and I don't feel great. And so I don't necessarily feel, quote unquote, like myself. And maybe I haven't felt like myself in many years. And maybe not maybe, I definitely want to feel more like that. And so I think things like, now that I'm in a really important stage, in a difficult stage, but I got through some of those massive hurdles, I think it's like that reflecting on, like, okay, like, I had surgery and now, oh, I don't feel quite like myself. And I think it's kind of like that re-examination period. So it doesn't mean that I feel negative about anything, but I also think it's like, when you're in a heightened state, it's like you're starting to come to. And I think I'm kind of coming to, and I'm like, okay, let me examine what's around here. And it doesn't take me out, but it also still takes, emotional energy to be like, whoa, like, these things have impacted me, and I had to make these choices, and I think I made good choices, but, here's the leftover bit.